I believe so, yes. We already got this.
Yes.
I mean, if he's not shooting it for the truth of the matter, sir, it doesn't.
I'm not. Just from what he was basing it on.
He's going to his state of mind.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, I'm going to ask the court to bear with. Be attempting to utilize technology.
Sir, please come forward and be sworn.
See, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
See, thanks for your first and last name for the record, please.
John Joby, JOHNGILBEE.
All right, you may inquire.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Gilby, are you currently employed?
Yes, I am.
And where do you work?
City of Ann Arbor,
And how long have you worked for the city of Ann Arbor?
12 years.
And what do you do for the city of Ann Arbor?
Police officer.
You've been a police officer the entire time?
Yes, I am.
And were you working and on duty on September 26th, 2025 at approximately 14 hours?
Yes, I was.
And what were you doing?
Conducting traffic enforcement.
Traffic enforcement? And were you in you wearing a full uniform?
Yes, I was.
And were you in a police vehicle?
Yes, I was.
Was that vehicle equipped with video?
Yes, it is.
And what was it equipped with?
It's got a front-facing video camera, backseat video camera.
And you're familiar with how to operate these?
Yes, I am.
And were they in working order on that date?
They were.
Thank you. And where were you located at that time?
I was working the Packard Safety Corridor, which is Packard Flat Road.
And that is in the city of Ann Arbor in the county of Washtenaw?
Yes, it is.
And what, if anything, happened? Or as you were working that corridor, what were you doing?
I had just conducted a traffic stop and was finishing paperwork in the car.
And where exactly were you located?
I had parked in front of the Thrive Dentistry. The vehicle that I had stopped pulled in there, and I was parked parallel to that business.
And can you describe for the court where exactly you are? Are you in a street, parking lot?
It's a parking lot that runs parallel to Packard Road,
And
just east of Platte.
just east of Platte. And then what happened, if anything, as you were filling out your paperwork?
I was sitting in my patrol car and I heard a volley of gunfire, automatic gunfire behind my car. I looked in my rearview mirror and I saw a man running across the parking lot who was a victim. And then I exited my patrol vehicle to see what was going on.
When you said you saw him running across the patrol, you were in your vehicle?
Yes, I was.
And which way were you facing?
I was facing eastbound and I looked in my rearview mirror, and after I heard the gunfire, the first rounds of gunfire, and then I could see the victim running across the parking lot right behind the car.
And what did, you said you stepped out after that?
Yes, I did.
And when you stepped out, what did you see?
When I stepped out, I saw two men shooting at the person that was running.
You saw two men shooting at that time?
Yes.
Can you describe those two men?
Two black males, one in all black clothing, one with a gray hoodie, black pants.
Is there anything else you can describe about them?
One had longer hair.
Could you estimate their ages or anything at that time? Okay. Could you see firearms in their hands?
Yes.
And you said you heard a volley of gunfire. That was automatic fire?
Yes, it was.
How do you know that was automatic fire?
I served in the United States Marine Corps, and I'm familiar with what automatic gunfire sounds like.
How many shots did you hear, or could you tell?
Close to 50, probably.
Sounded that way?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you say 15 or 50?
50.
What's that?
As you heard that, you said you saw two young men running with guns and firing. What happened next?
They got into a burgundy Chevy Malibu.
And then what did they do?
They quickly sped out of the parking lot.
Could you see who got into which side? No. And then when they sped out of the parking lot, what did you do?
Immediately got right behind the vehicle and pursued them.
Now, when you did that, was your patrol vehicle camera working?
Yes, it was.
Your Honor, I am going to attempt to play people's proposed exhibit number 2. Gonna show. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have the issue.
There it is.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Gilby, can you see what is being projected onto the TV screens here in the courtroom?
Yes, I can.
And what is that?
That's the front-facing camera inside my patrol vehicle.
And what can you observe in that right now?
I'm just facing eastbound. I'm in that parking lot that I described at the corner of Packard Plat.
And this is where you were parked when you started hearing gunfire.
Correct.
All right, I'm going to hit play and start to let this go. Now, we don't hear any sound right now. Why is that?
I believe that the audio starts, it begins recording 30 seconds before the lights are activated. The audio will start once the lights are activated.
So at this time,
30 seconds prior to the activating of the lights.
thank you. Now, I've paused it here at 58 seconds into that video. Can you point out the suspect's vehicle that you were pursuing?
It is that burgundy Chevy Malibu that just exited the parking lot and now is heading westbound on Packard Road.
And can you tell from what right now where that vehicle is located on the road, what lane it's in?
It is traveling westbound in the eastbound lanes.
I'm going to continue playing. I've stopped the video at 1 minute and 2 seconds. Can you see the suspect vehicle at this point?
Yes, I can.
And what is it doing?
It is making a left-hand turn onto Platte Road, traveling southbound.
And in what lane is it making that left-hand turn?
I don't know which, he ends up into the regular lane, the southbound.
But he's coming out of the oncoming lane.
Correct.
Okay. Turning your attention to the sidewalk on the left, what can you observe there?
As I was driving by, I could see the victim lying motionless on the sidewalk.
And you continued pursuit?
Correct. Vehicle is now eastbound on the lane.
I'm going to pause that there, but I think I may have paused it in an inopportune moment. But I may back that up just a hair. Perfect. I have it stopped currently at 1 minute, 39 seconds. As you rounded the corner here, what did you observe?
I observed the driver of the vehicle running from the vehicle into the neighborhood.
How do you know it was the driver of the vehicle?
He exited the driver's side door.
Did you observe him do that?
Yes, did.
Okay. And what was he wearing?
Black pants, gray hood.
Gray hoodie. Okay. And the vehicle there, can you describe its situation, why it stopped or how?
Vehicle hit a tree that was at the corner.
And as you were approaching here, what street are you turning from?
Now turning eastbound on Lorraine
From what street?
from Platte Road.
And what is the speed limit on Platte Road?
Speed was 35 miles per hour.
Motor, you get me?
Stopping the video at 1 minute and 52 seconds. Officer Gilby, the video that we just watched in court, is that an accurate representation of what occurred on that date and time?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, I would move for the admission of People's Exhibit 2.
Any objection or voir dire?
None for us. Thank you, Judge.
Exhibit 2 is admitted.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Now, this video depicts you coming around the car and chasing after somebody, correct?
Yes.
What did you observe when you did that?
The individual was coming out of the vehicle, and then he climbed up over my hood and jumped down from the hood.
Now, were you able to see, based on where you were at any point, because of this accident, was the passenger side door damaged?
Yes.
And was it operational? Could it be opened?
I had to force it open. It went open easily.
Okay. And then as the subject who exited the vehicle, do you see that person in court today?
I do.
Could you identify him, please?
Sitting at the table, sweatshirt.
And Your Honor, I'd ask the court to reflect the in-court identification of Defendant Smith.
No objection, Your Honor. Thank you.
Objection, or record shall so reflect.
Thank you, Your Honor. When you saw Mr. Smith exit the vehicle and hop over the hood of your car, did you observe anything else?
Yes, I did.
What did you observe?
When Mr. Smith hit the ground, black handgun fell off of this person onto the ground from him.
And then after that dropped, he continued running around the car. And what did you do?
I continued to chase him, and then I was able to grab onto him, hold him against that fence where I was able to put him down on the ground, put him in handcuffs.
Did he immediately comply?
Yes.
But he did attempt to run away from you?
Yes, I did.
And at that point, had you told him to stop?
Yes, I have.
And again, you were in a marked squad car with your lights and sirens operating?
Correct.
And your lights and sirens, were they operating the entire time that you were following this motor vehicle?
Yes, they were.
Okay. After Mr. Smith complied, you were able to put him in handcuffs?
Yes, I was.
And what did you do with him then?
I placed him in the backseat of my patrol car.
And after you put him in the backseat of your patrol car, did you go back and look at that firearm on the ground?
Yes, I did.
And can you describe to the court what you found?
It was a 10mm semi-auto, but it had a switch on the back of it.
Can you describe what you mean by a switch on the back of it?
It's like some kind of a metal adapter that's on the back of the gun that turns it into full auto.
And as you testified earlier, that you had heard automatic gunfire.
Correct. The weapon also had an optic on top of it.
Can you describe what you mean by that?
It's like a raised up sight that puts a dot instead of the traditional metal sight.
And then what did you do with that firearm once you found it?
I made sure that it was safe and I put it on the front seat of my patrol car.
Were you able to ascertain the caliber of that firearm by looking at it?
Yes,
And what was the caliber?
10mm.
And that's based on your experience in both the military and as a police officer?
Yes, sir.
Mayor, may I have just a moment?
You may.
I have no further questions, Your Honor. Thank you. Do you need this?
No.
Cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Gilby, good afternoon. Officer Gilby, my name's Neil Rockine. We have not met before or spoken about this case. Is that right? Again, when I pause or finish speaking, that'll be, means I'm done asking a question. That'll be the best time for you to respond. Let's try not to talk over each other. Is that fair? I want to go back, if I could, to the parking lot. So you were actually stationary? You were doing stationary traffic enforcement, or you writing somebody a ticket?
Right.
And so at that point, you're stationary, obviously not expecting what happened, right? So is it fair to say that it caught you off guard? And when I say it caught you off guard, you'd be referring to the sound of the gunshots, the number of gunshots, yes?
Correct.
And so I want to go right there if I could. You said that you observed, you heard gunshots, and then you observed a person who you now know to be the victim or the decedent, yes? Running across the parking lot, yes? And obviously you've got military training and you've got police training, so you have sort of a heightened awareness of security concerns. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
So at that point, you noticed, I'm sure, that the decedent, Mr. Thomas, was actually armed himself, right?
No, sir.
Did you notice at that point that he was returning gunfire or exchanging gunfire?
No, sir.
Did you know at that point at all whether Mr. Thomas had exchanged gunfire with anybody?
No, sir.
You're not saying that he wasn't armed. You're saying you just didn't see it.
Correct.
So by the time you ultimately made it to, and I forget the location of the streets where you were, but you ultimately made it to find the vehicle that had taken off from the scene. It was crashed into a tree.
Correct.
So the driver apparently gets out, yes, and takes off.
Yes, sir.
You then use your vehicle to do what?
To try to prevent the passenger from running away.
So you had no idea if the passenger was going to run away at that point. That was just sort of instinct on your part. Is that fair to say?
He was coming out of the vehicle as I was turning.
He was coming trying to get out of the crashed vehicle, out of the only door that worked.
Correct.
Right. Now, at that point, fair to say you didn't know whether he was going to run or flee or whether he was just trying to get out. You would know.
Correct.
Okay. Now, when he gets out of the car, I know, and you've written a report about this, is that right?
Yes.
And in one of the things you wrote in your report was that at some point, as he got out, based upon the entire circumstance, you were concerned for your safety. Yes.
Yes.
You were concerned for the safety of others in the neighborhood.
Yes.
Now, no one at that point, thankfully, had pointed a gun at you or had gestured towards you with a gun. Yes.
Correct.
But just despite all of that, you still had concerns that you could be in danger.
Yes, sir.
And because of that, you did what? Did you pull out an arm? Did you pull out a weapon? Did you pull out your gun? Did you do anything like that at all?
No.
And tell me, and why is that? Why did you not?
I used my vehicle to try to prevent him from leaving. I didn't see the gun in his hand whenever he came over. But
Now, so when he dropped, it was essentially when the gun fell out of his pocket or fell onto the ground. At that point, you thought that he was, as I'm listening, that he was not armed any longer.
whenever I am pursuing the vehicle, I know that both subjects in that vehicle are armed.
Okay,
Because I just watched them shoot someone.
you watched him shoot at somebody.
So
I guess-
they're- because I watched them, I never lost sight of them. I watched them get into the vehicle. Then pursued them.
My question is a little bit different. I appreciate that. So maybe it wasn't a very articulate question, and I apologize for that. When you pulled up towards and did your maneuver to block the driver's side door, the opening of the driver's side of the car, you said that a person identified as Mr. Smith got out. Yes?
Correct.
He jumped across your hood, right? That we just watched that on video, so that's not deniable. So you also observed a gun fall out of his pocket or out of his clothing. Is that right?
Correct.
You did not pull a gun, as I understand it.
Correct.
And I'm asking why.
Because my adrenaline was going and I just wanted to catch it.
All right. So you, at that point, did you still think that he might have been armed despite having dropped the gun?
Yeah, in that 1 second that it took to exit the vehicle and make contact with him, I thought he was armed with a weapon.
And you're relying on, and you've got years of training. We talked about that, Marines, police, and you're working off adrenaline and just making the best split decision judgments you can, given what the threat that you perceive. Yes?
Correct.
In hindsight, you may have actually pulled the gun if you thought about it again. Is that fair to say?
understand that question.
And if you look back at it now, would you pull a gun again? If just thinking back through things, would you have pulled your gun?
I would have done it exactly how I did it.
Exactly as you did it. Had you continued to think he was armed, or had he done something to reach for a pocket or something, you would have then pulled out your sidearm, I presume, right?
If he presented a gun at me,
Yes.
yes.
Or had he gestured towards it, like had he furtively gestured towards his clothing as though he were still armed, I presume you would take appropriate action.
You're asking what I think I would have done
Yeah.
if things were different than they
If,
were.
if,
Sustained.
okay, no problem. Is it fair to say that when you detained or arrested Mr. Smith, that you did not know his age at that point?
Correct.
Did you learn at some point that he was a minor?
Yes, I did.
And this is going to be a silly question, and I don't mean it to be, but fair to say that you don't have any reason to believe that he has the same sort of professional safety training that you have?
Objection.
Sustained.
I've nothing else to, oh, I'm sorry. I guess I need it. When you were doing having just finished writing your ticket, you were obviously still in a marked patrol vehicle?
Yes,
Were your lights still on, like your emergency flashers, they were off?
correct.
All right, I have nothing else, Judge, thank you.
Sir, thank you. Cross-examination structure.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah, thank you.
Good afternoon, officer. I had the opportunity to hear talking about your training with the Marines as well as the police department, correct?
Yes, sir.
And what were your duties in the Marine?
I was a communications field wireman.
Okay, and you went to a police academy here for certification?
Yes, sir.
And while you were in the academy, they taught you the importance of writing reports
Yes, sir.
and how it was important to write down immediately the key factors because when they're fresh in your mind, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you write them down in your report so you don't get confused between the facts you knew exactly when this incident occurred and something someone told you later on, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I'm assuming that you would like to put all the key relevant facts in your police report. So when you call the court like today, you can rely on that report for its accuracy, correct?
Yes, sir.
And anything that's very important or that you as a well-trained officer know is very important, you're gonna put it down in that police report, correct?
To the best of my ability, sir.
Now, earlier on, you testified that you've seen a shooting occur, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you prepared a police report shortly thereafter, correct?
Yes, sir.
And in that police report, you put all the important facts about that shooting, correct?
Yes, sir.
However, would you disagree with me if I say it's nowhere in this police report that you saw any individual shooting?
No, sir.
Are you disputing with that or you agree with me?
I'm agreeing that it's not that.
Okay, nowhere in your well-trained police report, you wrote down that you've seen the actual shooting, correct?
Right.
What you stated is that you heard shooting, correct? You heard a volley of shots.
Yes, sir.
And you testified in close that afterwards you went in pursuit of a car. Isn't that correct?
No, sir.
And you were so clear and precise to make sure you wrote all the correct facts that you described the type of the car and the color of the car, correct?
Yes, sir.
And since that time, you talked with many different officers and found out a lot more information. Isn't that correct?
Yes, sir.
Being a well-trained officer, is there any particular reason you failed to describe the individuals that you saw doing shooting in your police report?
Just a lot of adrenaline during that day. I've been a police officer for 15 years. It's the first time I've ever witnessed something like that.
Okay, you make mistakes sometimes, don't you?
Yes,
Okay. And your police report is typed, isn't it?
yes, it is.
So I'm assuming when this typed report came out, when you wrote this report, you were at your station.
Yes, sir.
And by the time being a well-trained officer, being in the Marines, the adrenaline had kind of fell down by the time you got to the station and sat at your computer, correct?
No, sir.
Okay, and how long was it how long did it take you to leave the scene of the crime and get to your station?
I don't recall.
At least an hour, correct?
Most likely.
Okay, and then when you got to your station, you had to talk with other officers, you had to check in, then at one point in time, you went and sat at your desk, correct, or a desk, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then you start preparing your in the police report as a well-trained officer would do, correct?
Yes, sir.
And are you trying to say you're still jittery and nervous at that point?
For weeks to come.
For weeks. But when you're jittery and nervous, you make mistakes, isn't that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, but so I can sit down, it's nowhere in this. Your police report, which you agree was 1, 2, 3 pages long, correct? What's further, Your Honor?
Any redirect?
No, thank you.
Officer, thank you very much. Thank you. Call your next witness.
Now, people call Corporal Tyler Maxey.
Please come forward to be sworn.
Police identify a burgundy Chevy Malibu fleeing the shooting scene. The vehicle drives against traffic, crashes into a tree, and the driver attempts to escape on foot. As he exits, a handgun falls from his body, directly linking him to the violent incident.
You take a seat, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to affirm the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Hey, state spell your first and last name for the record, please.
First name is Tyler, Tyler, last name is Maxey, M-A-X.
You may inquire.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Corporal Maxey. Are you currently employed?
Yes.
And where are you employed?
Pittsfield Township.
And what do you do for the Pittsfield Township Police Department?
Corporal.
And how long have you worked for Pittsfield Police?
Since August 2011.
And were you so employed and on duty on September 26, 2025 at approximately 1:15 in the afternoon? And what were your duties on that date?
Working road patrol, responding to calls that were dispatched.
And around that date and time, approximately where were you?
I was on a neighbor trouble in the Arbor House apartment complex in the area of Gross Road. and Packer Road.
And while you were investigating that, what, if anything, happened?
While I was on that neighbor trouble, I heard my sergeant, Kristen Beard, called the radio. It was out on shot wound victim, and that all Pittsfield needed to break. So I left the apartment complex, left the apartment building, not knowing what was going on, because I had not heard any radio traffic. And then when I entered my patrol vehicle, where I scanned, working for Pittsfield, my primary radio channel was Metro East through Washington County Dispatch, but then I also scanned Metro West in the car.
And in scanning those radio frequencies, what, if anything, did you learn?
When I entered the vehicle, I then heard that Officer Gilby was in a pursuit southbound on Platte. And additionally, that Officer Beard, Sergeant Beard, was out with that gunshot wound faced down at Packard.
And what did you do?
I responded urgent, westbound from US 13 down to Platte Road. And on Packard.
On Packard? And where did you go?
As I passed the intersection of Packard and Platte, I saw Sergeant Beard with a subject on the sidewalk, rendering aid. And then Officer Gilby advised that the suspect vehicle had crashed out the area of Platte and Lorraine.
And based on that information, what did you do next?
Officer Gilby advised that one subject had fled from the vehicle. I then entered a neighborhood just north of his location. I slowly responded to where he was and attempted to see if anybody was going to cross the street, move through a backyard.
And what did you observe?
From Creek Drive, Redwood and Creek down to Officer Gilby, I did not see anybody. And then I arrived on the scene where Officer Gilby was with the suspect vehicle, his patrol vehicle, and he had one subject in custody.
And from there, having seen one subject in custody, what did you do next?
I asked Officer Gilby for a description of the other suspects, which time he told me it was a black male wearing gray and black. He had fled northeast into the.
Okay. And based on that information, what did you do?
So knowing that area and the size of the neighborhood and the streets, I responded to Creek Drive and I believe it was, corner of Creek and LaFair, that general area. Just my belief that somebody on foot, the time period that they may not have gotten that far. So I set up a perimeter northeast of Officer Gilby's location.
And then from where you were located at that time, what did you do or what did you observe?
So I was directing traffic away from the area south of me. The Washington County Sheriff's Office advised they had another subject in custody west of Platte Road, was armed with a firearm. At that point, I thought the suspect would potentially be in custody. Still standing there, I observed a black male in all black running from one side of the street to the other.
And based on that, what did you do?
I responded, I got in my patrol vehicle, drove south towards that subject's location. I saw him crossing the street, I believe it is a Korean Bible church, like through that parking lot. Pulled into the parking lot, observed him jumping fences, going southbound into the backyard of other neighborhoods or other homes.
Now, you had testified that you were told that the other subject was a black male wearing black and gray, correct?
Yes.
And you also said that you had heard that someone else had been apprehended, so you thought that maybe the person that Officer Gilby had said run off, correct? So what made you pursue this person that you saw?
Based on the circumstances that were taking place through the incident, and in my experience and training, it's not normal for somebody to be running across the street and fleeing a police car.
Now, when you say fleeing a police car when they came towards them, are you referring to your police car? Did you observe that subject look at you?
Yes.
So describe for the court what you saw.
So I was in the Korean Bible Church parking lot. He was jumping a fence, going south, looking back towards me. I could see that he had a cell phone in his hand. I could see like the screen illuminated on the cell phone. And then he continued jumping fences, looking back towards me. At that point, I pulled back out.
So you about to say something, Judge?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. So your testimony is that you saw that subject look back at you several times while running away. Okay. And from there, what did you do next?
Based on his location, like that he was running southbound, kind of parallel his direction of travel all the way down to Lorraine. And then my thought in my head was that he was going to cross into another backyard to continue going eastbound. So I pulled on to LaSalle and then set up a perimeter on LaSalle. And just held that.
When you say cross, are you referring to cross Lorraine Street that you were on, or?
So my belief was that as I continued southbound, he was going to continue eastbound. So I had to go down to Lorraine to then come back north on LaSalle, which would have been the street behind where I saw him jumping.
Thank you. And then having done that, what happened next?
So I held that perimeter kind of like the crest of the hill. So I could see to my left, south to Lorraine, and then I could see to my right, north to Fair Street. So I held that as other police officers held that general area. They conducted a canine track. While standing there, I heard MSP LawNet advise that they observed a subject near the fair. As I looked to my north, I saw the same subject from earlier who had been jumping fences. Try to come out onto LaSalle, looked like he observed me and then went back westbound into a residence.
And what did you do after that?
Got back in my patrol car, drove north towards that location, at which time I saw him probably through a backyard. I exited my patrol vehicle. I don't recall what the address is there on the south. Pursued him on foot and then ordered him to the ground at gunpoint, at which time he complied
Did you say anything to him before he complied?
I think I said, I don't know the exact words, I believe it was like police having stop, something like that.
And when you said that, did he stop immediately or did he keep running?
I believe it was on the second command is when he stopped running.
So initially you said stop police in some format and he continued to run.
Yes.
After he stopped, what happened after that?
So I held him at gunpoint because he was on the ground. At that time, Officer Stanky from Ann Arbor PD kind of came through the wood line because I had called out the address of where it was. Held him at gunpoint while Officer Stanky placed him in handcuffs.
And you said you held him at gunpoint. How far away from him were you at that time?
Initially, I believe I was probably from me to maybe the wooden divider. And then as Officer Stanky arrived, kind of converged together and held the gunpoint from me to the front of like halfway between us, maybe.
For the record, could you estimate those distances?
I would assume that I held him at gunpoint while he was being handcuffed at about 5.5 feet.
Okay. And what was his position on the ground?
I believe he was face down, prone out with his arms to the side.
Okay. And did you, after he, let me take that back. What was he wearing when he was taken into custody?
It was a black t-shirt, black pants, dark colored socks, no shoes.
No shoes? Do you see the person you took into custody on that date in the courtroom today? Could you identify them by something that they're wearing and their location?
To my left, seated at the table, wearing a green top and white undershirt.
And that's a record to reflect the in-court identification of defendant Jones.
Was that objection record show so reflect?
If I could have just a moment. I have no further questions. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Cross-examination.
No questions for us. Thank you.
Cross-examination. No questions. All right. Okay, thank you. Call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. People would call Officer Michael Stanky.
A second suspect flees into a residential neighborhood, jumping fences and evading officers. Police quickly establish a perimeter, coordinating movements based on radio updates. The suspect is eventually located.
Sir, please come forward to be sworn.
Take a seat, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please spell your first and last name for the record, please.
First name Michael, M-I-C-H-A-E-L. Last name is Stanky, S-T-A-N-K-E-Y.
You may inquire.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Stanky, are you currently employed? And where are you employed? And what do you do there? How long have you been a patrol officer for the city of Ann Arbor? And were you so employed and on duty on September 26, 2025 at approximately 1:15 in the afternoon? And what were your duties at that time?
At that time, I was just on general patrol in the area, about Huron Street and South Sixth Street.
And while you were doing those duties, what if anything happened?
I heard radio traffic. It sounded like somebody saying there were shots fired in the area of Packard Flat. I then proceeded to drive down.
And where did you go and what happened?
Initially, I drove to the area just north of Packard, near Platt, near that intersection, and sort of some neighborhoods in that area. I then got better information about where suspects might be running, and so I went south of Packard and began to search the area south of Packard.
And the information that you got was to go to that area? Okay. And then when you went to that area, what happened?
I began walking through the streets looking for the suspects, identified as a black male wearing black.
We were getting various phone calls from citizens saying that they were seeing somebody jump fences or run the yards, that sort of thing. So we were kind of just shifting where we were looking. I found myself in the area of LaSalle Drive and Fair Street at one point.
And when you say that people were looking for a black male wearing black, was that coming through on the radio?
I believe so, yes. I believe we already got the suspect.
Yes. I mean, if he's not shooting it for the truth of the matter, sir, it doesn't.
I'm not. Just from what he was basing it on.
He's going to his state of mind.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead.
And so you were hearing this on the radio, getting descriptions of who you were looking, of the person of interest.
Correct.
And you don't know where that information is coming from or who's saying it.
No, not exactly.
Okay. All right. So from there, where did you go? What did you do?
I was walking the area, I was walking on Fair Street, eastbound, approaching Sal Drive. I then heard an officer on the radio say that he had a suspect in front of him and that they began running southbound on Sal Drive. There were black male wearing black, I believe that this officer said. Then I didn't ran to the Sal Drive to try and intercept.
And what happened then?
I observed them go south on Sal Drive, take a right to go west through a yard there.
I'm going to stop you real quick. When you said I observed them, could you specify to whom you're referring?
I observed a male run through the yard and then a police officer.
And the male that you observed, could you describe what that person looked like, what they were wearing?
I just saw a black man wearing black.
Okay. Please continue. And so you saw them running, and then what did you do?
I doubled back, crossed through the backyard of another address, trying to intercept them, and then approached when I heard on the radio. Corporal Maxey say that he had a male at gunpoint on the ground. I approached the backyard where they were. I saw Corporal Maxey at gunpoint with a black male prone out on the ground.
When you, at any time prior to that, observing this black male, did you say anything to him or shout anything?
I don't believe so. No.
Okay. And on that date and time, were you in full uniform?
Oh,
And did that include a body worn camera?
yes.
And was that body worn camera in working order? And you know how to operate that body worn camera? And the footage from that date and time was retained,
It was.
and that's loaded onto a server and kept there. Okay. Your Honor, at this point, I would like to show what I have marked as People's Proposed Exhibit number 3. Good. At what point in this incident did your body cam start recording?
Most likely when I first activated my overhead lights on Huron Street near State Street and began driving down from there.
And about how long before that, about how much time do you think elapsed before you actually caught the individual you described?
Probably 20, 30 minutes, maybe.
I am, if I could get the image up on the screen, please. Yeah, oh,
Plugged in.
it is on my.
The suspect is detained and placed in custody. Officers recover a 10mm handgun equipped with an illegal automatic switch. During cross-examination, the defense challenges police decision-making, but testimony consistently confirms the suspect's flight, possession of the weapon, and threat to public safety.